Welcome guys to a brand new video on solo leveling Arise. In today's video we have a very important guide because I'm going to be going over the best build for Jinwoo, and not only that, this is completely a full guide on Jinwoo. I'm going to be going over the best stats distribution, what should you focus on between strength, agility, vitality, intelligence and perception. I'm going to go over the best skills for Jinwoo as well, so which ones should you focus on. I'm going to be going over the best blessing stones as well, and I'm also going to be going over the best weapons, going over the best artifact sets. I'm going to be going over 3 particular builds you can actually run on your Jinwoo, so hopefully you guys are looking forward to that. And then I'm also going to go over the most important stats for him, so the substats and the main stats for Jinwoo. This is the ultimate guide to Jinwoo. I can't stress this enough. This is very important if you guys want to understand how to build your Jinwoo. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Now don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you all, by the way, for letting me reach 15k subscribers. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you all for the support. To continue supporting the channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get 60 likes in today's video. Hopefully you guys can continue to support the channel. So the first thing we want to talk about is the artifacts. Now there's 3 particular builds for Jinwoo that you can actually run. These are the only 3 builds that are actually worth using for him. Now one thing I would like to say is that this part of the artifacts is only unlocked in mid to end game, so you need to unlock instance dungeon and you won't unlock that early on, so this is going to take you like a week, 2 weeks before you can get that stuff, but it's fine. It actually helps you guys with your power level as well and just overall stats distribution. So later on you guys will unlock this if you guys are still in beginning stage, but in general, in terms of the best artifacts for this side for Jinwoo, no question asked, it is the expert set. This is the best artifacts for him. No matter which build you guys are using, this is the best one for him. So like I said, there's 3 artifacts build you want to be using, 3 different builds you can use for Jinwoo. So the one build is this one over here with the destroyer as well. However, destroyer isn't a gear you will be able to get once again early game, so this is like a mid game build for Jinwoo because you won't be able to actually get this type of gear, because if you go over to end core missions, the first 2 you unlock is this ones. And as you can see, destroyer set isn't there. So as you guys are trying to do early game, that is something you guys won't be able to use on him. So in early game, the best set for Jinwoo is between the armed and toughness set. So the armed set is this one over here. Now this is as well as toughness. Toughness is the crit rate one. Those are the 2 amazing sets for Jinwoo for early to even late game as well. I personally would recommend using the toughness set over the arm set, just so that you can easily get over to 50% crit rate, and it will make you guys crit a lot better. But eventually when you start farming destroyer sets as well, you can go ahead and use that. So 3 sets you can use is destroyer, destroyer and expert, toughness and expert, and armed and expert. Those are the 3 builds. Now for a late game, probably the best one is between toughness set and the armed set. Destroyer set is mid game stuff. Now I will change this in the future. The only reason why I haven't changed it is, as you can see, I don't have the greatest sets available right now for either the toughness or the armed set. Now, whilst we're talking about the artifacts, the most important substat for him is crit rate at number 1, crit damage at number 2, attack percentage at number 3, and then defense penetration at number 4. Those are the main important stats for him. So once you start getting the artifacts on the left side, so you guys are playing the game early game, mid game, you're all just still early game, you only have the left side unlocked. You just want to focus on trying to get as much crit rates as possible. So if you guys haven't unlocked this right side, so the side with the rings and the earrings and whatnot, then you're only going to be focused on trying to get crit rate from the substats from here. And then when it comes to the stats distribution, if you go over to here, you are more than likely going to be putting some stats into agility as well. The reason for that is because you want to get as much crit rate as possible, but at the same time you still want to work on strength and perception. So the main three important stats is strength, agility, and perception. And early game you might still want to put some stats into agility, but later on in the game, as you start farming better gears, you do not put any stats into agility for the crit rate or crit damage. You only go into perception and strength, and you need to make sure that your perception is at 90%. No matter what, perception has to be at least 90%. So as you guys are leveling up, put stats into perception, put stats into attack, and put stats into crit rate. Now when you reach late game, this is when you've unlocked every single part of the gear. You need to reset this. It's going to cost you gold, it's fine. You reset this, put some stats into perception once again to get 90%, and then the rest all in strength. The reason for that is in late game you will start eventually farming gears properly, and you will be looking at the substats, the main stats, aiming to get 50% overall crit rate. So right now for me it's garbage. I will need to improve on this, but the max percentage for crit rate you can get is 50. So to make sure you get 50, you need to crit rate from your substats over here. So I got crit rate over here, I don't have any crit rate over here. I have crit rate, I have crit rate. This one doesn't have crit rate, no crit rate, crit damage instead. So I could actually increase my overall crit rate to 50 if I just get better sets with crit rate inside. So let's see, this one has no crit rates. Yeah, I don't have any other good ones actually. So any crit rate in there? Nope, no crit rates. So eventually you're going to start farming gears, and you get crit rate from your substats, and that's why you no longer need to put any stats into agility. Now the reason why you want stats on your crit rate, or you want crit rate, is because the expert cert, you need to do crit hits before you can even have the chance to activate this passive to get an increase to your attack. So crit rate is very, very important. Now whilst we're talking about crit rate, we might as well talk about weapons. There are particular weapons that actually increase your crit rate as well. Now obviously the demonic plume sword is an SSR weapon, but it's honestly one of the best because it gives you crit rate, crit damage, and overall attack stats. Now let's go ahead and take a look at other weapons you guys can actually use on your song Jinwoo. Now I'm going to be talking in general terms, but do be aware that as you're clearing content, there are stages, or most of the stages have stages where you want to use weapons of the recommended attributes. So even if a weapon in general is just better, you want to focus on the recommended attribute if you're struggling with it, because you in general you will deal extra damage from that weapon instead. So going over to the weapon side, let's take a look at some good weapons for Song Jinwoo. First of all, we have this weapon over here, which in general is also pretty good as well. It gives you some domain, which gives you all of this stuff. The only issue with this weapon is the fact that it takes too long to use this skill, and you can actually get knocked off. Ooh, wrong one. You can get knocked out of it, and then you basically lose out on everything. So you need to do all of that, or you get knocked out. So yeah, okay, it's a good weapon though. Next up we have the Wild West, or West Wild Wind. It's a very, very OP SR weapon. Once you start getting dupes for this will honestly be one of the best SR weapon in the game. Next up we also have this weapon that is given to you for free. You can actually get one copy from the challenge, and it's actually very, very good. And if you get more dupes on it, you give yourself crit rate, 100% crit hit rate as well, which is good as well. So very, very good weapon. The pistol in general also good as well. This is also is this one good? This one should be good as well. This weapon is actually very, very OP. This one is good. In general, there's a lot of really good SR weapons you can use. The main focus is honestly the Orb of Avarice, in my opinion, as well as the West Wind. Those are the two ones I want to prioritize and focus on. But like I said, any of the SR weapons we do, especially if you start getting more dupes on them, they become even more broken. Yeah, we've gone over the stats distribution. Like I said, early game you're probably going to be putting some stats into agility just so you can get 50% crit rate, or as much crit rate as possible, so that the expert set can actually work. At least try and get 30% at least, not including the crit rate from your weapons, by the way. So do that. Get perception to 90%, definitely very important. And then put some stats into strength. And then when it comes to artifacts that are important, there's 3 different artifact sets you can run. Either Destroyer and Expert, Armed and Expert. Once again, there's a quick summary before we carry on. Armed and Expert, as well as the Toughness and Expert. I think early on it's probably best to go with Toughness, since you actually get an increased crit rate of 8%. So I think Toughness might be the best one to go for actually in general, just because it helps you build crit rate a lot faster and easier. So it is what it is. Anyways, I will change this set. I'm trying to build, honestly, the crit rate one. I just haven't gotten lucky with good drops as of yet. And like I said, main stats that are important are crit rate stats are very important, followed by crit damage, followed by attack stat, followed by the defense penetration. Now, next we are going to be talking about skills, the best skills for Song Jinwoo. Now, as you can see, there's a bunch of skills, but in general, you need to look at the skills. And if you're going against enemies with a break bar, once again, take a look. If the enemy has a break bar, you will need to switch your skills to allow you to break, including whilst using your skills, because not every single skill of Song Jinwoo has the break effect. If you take a look at this, the break effect is here, break effect in here, no break, no break, no breaks, no breaks, break. So when you are going against break units that has a break bar, you need to use this 2 particular skill. First of all is the Death Dance, and preferably the Dark attribute. And this is really useful against bosses. But if you're not going against bosses, you can switch it to any of the other one. What you're really looking at for is the break ability, to be honest. Except, yeah, don't use this one actually. You can spam this 3 times, I believe, right? So yeah, I think this is okay as well. But preferably go for the dark one against bosses. You can switch the other ones to, depending on what you require. But in general, Death Dance, this skill is the most important one, alongside the multi-strike as well. And again, you want to go for the dark one as well, because this one gives you immunity or invisibility, so you can't be hit with this. This allows you to cheese certain content or bosses attack as well. Just like with Igris, if you can't really dodge at that point, just use the skill. You have the invisibility, you still deal damage, and it's very good for damage as well. And every time this skill hits, increases damage dealt by 2%, stacks up to 2 times, only 4%. That's kind of not that great. Anyways, when the skill hits, reset the cooldown of Dagger Toss, which is this one, right? Yeah, we're not using this one, so it's fine. Anyways, so like I said, for characters that you need to break, this is the best set skills. And as you can see, this is the current one I am using myself. Now, if the opponent can't be broken, then you can still use this one over here, because at the end of the day, you still do extra damage to bosses and elite monsters, which is very useful. Or you can use Mutilate over here, which in general is also pretty good. So I have the dark one that I use. There is a 20% chance that the hunter will ignore 100% of the target's defense and attack when they attack. And yeah, this is good in general. But yeah, Mutilate in general is also a very good skill that I like to switch into as well. When this skill hits, resets cooldown. Cooldown is 30 seconds. This one is scaling off his attack and HP. Don't build HP though, no matter what. Just because it says HP doesn't mean it's going to be good for you. When the skill hits, it decreases target's attack and defense by 8%. It's okay. This one, when its attack hits, it freezes, which is actually pretty good as well. CC ability. So Mutilate, also good. Then the other one is Vital Strike. Vital Strike is also a very good one. This one over here that I have is increases his attack by a certain amount for a certain duration, sorry. When the skill hits, it decreases target's defense. That's good as well. Damage dealt to bosses and elite monsters, as you can see, is increased by 45%. So if I'm going against a boss or elite monster that doesn't really care if it's if there's no break bar, then the 2 ones I'll use is Vital Strike. This one over here, I will equip the Ruin, and then I would also use Death Dance, the dark one, and this will allow me to do extra damage to the boss. So yeah, very good. So those are the ones you definitely want to level up as well. So as you can see, I got a couple of them to level 10, level 11. yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do this one. But actually, you know what? I've leveled this 2 already. Let me see this one. I can't level this up, so what I'm gonna do is actually level up Vital Strike, because it is a good good skill, and as you get more ruins, you actually increase the level as well, so that's pretty good. Besides that, that's all the skill you need to focus on, to be honest. So once again, Death Dance for break units that you need to break, or enemies that you need to break, plus the multi-strike. When you don't need to break, you use the Mutilate and you use the Vital Strike, or you can still use Death Dance as well. So I'm gonna over artifacts, skills, weapons. Now when it comes over to the blessing stones, okay, I'm gonna have to go into the codex right now, because obviously blessing stones are kind of late game stuff. Now in general, some of the best blessing stones are like Chain of Blood. Your attack damage is increased by 18% of your lost HP ratio, but also increases your damage. Oh no, not that one. Oh, it's this one. There we go. Pulverize. Sorry, it's this one. The power of the break effect you apply to the enemy increases by 18%. The damage you deal targets affected by the break effect is increased by 18%. This in general is very, very good if you're going against bosses with a break bar. It's worth using. Which other ones are good? Nope. The Monarch Domain as well is pretty good if you're using your shadows, and of course the free blessing stone that's given to you, that's also worth building. That's also worth using. Which other ones are good? There you go. So against non-boss monsters, your damage is increased by 16%, or your attack, is the attack? The damage is increased by 16%. Okay. When crit rate is hit by, nope, not this one. Reawakening is also good as well. The skill cooldown will all decrease by 20%. That's good. Oh, Monarch Domain. Sorry, did I said camouflage? Yeah, Monarch Domain is good for shadows. Sorry, did I say camouflage before? Or tenacity? Yeah, I mean this one is good if you're using your shadows. So yeah, those are the really good ones. And also, by the way, Swiftness is good as well, because it gives you 1 extra dashes, which is going to come in very handy if you're going against bosses and you can't guarantee yourself dashing within 3 times. So you get an extra dash, which is obviously going to be useful as well. So those are some of the good blessing stones as well. So once again, I have gone over the best stats distribution. Focus on early on, you're going to focus on your agility to get some more crit rate. Eventually you'll get 50% just from the substats, so you don't actually need to put any crit rate into the agility. In terms of the best artifacts, honestly, I would say go with toughness, because it's much more easier to get that crit rate, the max crit rate from toughness, to be honest, and you also get a crit damage buff as well. So toughness is, in my opinion, one of the best to go for, and then obviously go with experts. Next up, in terms of skills that are very good to prioritize, Death Dance, Mutilate, Vital Strike, as well as Multi-Strike. Blessing Stones, I've already gone over there. It's going to be really annoying if I have to go back. In terms of the best SSR weapon, any of the SSR weapons are good. In terms of weapons in general, actually, all of the SSR weapons are good. But the 2 ones that are really, really good, or 3 ones, are the Demonic Plume Sword, the Grimoire, and the Huntsman against bosses with a break bar. If not, you can go with the literally any of the other weapons, honestly, guys. Even the Scythe. The Scythe is actually pretty good, actually, in terms of damage. I think that is pretty much it. Substats that are important: attack, well, crit rate first, crit damage, attack, defense, penetration. Yeah, those are the main important ones for Sung Jinwoo. You don't have to worry about additional MP for him, actually. It doesn't work for him. Additional MP is only for, to be honest, from what I can see right now, preferably good for hunters, not your Sung Jinwoo. Hopefully you guys find this video helpful and overall useful. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys are going to be switching out your builds right now. Anyways, it's been your boy Ace Gamer, and I'm out.